Thanks again for the invite and the opportunity to work with your organizations. So I'm Brock Lundberg. I'm the Chief Science Officer of Fiberstar. I've been with the company for about 22 years. Officially, I guess, started in 2001 as a startup company. We've grown a lot since then, but we're continuing to develop new products and innovate and have had some SBIR funding to help with that. And our pitch today is to help kind of with the investment capital for the new products that we're trying to commercialize. And kind of our ideal partner may be a strategic kind of partner, kind of aligned in the beverage industry for ingredients. Also, we have some need and can talk about some debt financing as we look forward as well. So those are kind of the two areas that we've been looking at for investment capital for the new products that we're introducing, which I'm going to talk about next. So Fiberstar started in 2001. We introduced our first product based on a byproduct of orange juice production, which was called Citrify. That product was commercialized in 2003. Now we kind of have a new, somewhat transformative, I guess would be the word I was looking for, that of another byproduct-based ingredient for beverage applications. So it's a new class of emulsifier for beverage use that stabilizes oils. And this is a very large market size. We've had large customer interest from multinational companies. And meanwhile, we do have 20 years of product sales and revenue from existing products. We do have 27 patents, and we're targeting multinational companies, many of which have actually put in letters of support for the new products. And we do have existing sales as well through distribution channels. So the opportunity for us is to create a new beverage ingredient to keep flavored oils in beverage stable. And these flavored oils are necessary to make them taste good. Otherwise, they separate, they don't look good or taste good, and people won't buy them. But there's not many natural ingredients that are useful for stabilizing oils today. There's no natural ingredients. In fact, many of them are synthetic, many of them are banned, they're all highly regulated. And this creates an opportunity for clean label or natural, organic, sustainable beverage ingredients, which we have experience with. We do have relationships with many of these beverage companies. And we did get the market study back for 2% of this market alone just represents $28 million obtainable market. This is through the Resolve Consulting Group data. And just conceptually, you can kind of just see like before and after what we're achieving in beverages. Beverages that are unstable will quickly separate, and they don't really look like a beverage that we're used to. Beverages from all the different sodas have many ingredients to get them to remain stable, many synthetic ingredients. But that's what's required for people to buy them. They want this to look good, they want to taste good. And we have technology that's sourced on natural ingredients that can do this, can create stable emulsions. And the product Densify is used at really low concentrations, and it can remain stable with these beverage emulsions. We do have process experience. Fiberstar has a manufacturing location in 2 different plants in Clewiston, Florida, as well as River Falls, Wisconsin. We do have patents for the original intellectual property that was developed at the University of Minnesota. I did my PhD at UW-Madison on the subject. So we do have a range of experience and knowledge about natural-based ingredients sourced from byproducts. And we also have invested in new products, several new launches just this year alone, with the organic launch in January, February this year, and then a neutral flavored product called Citrify 600 was launched in June. So we're continuing to innovate, and this beverage product Densify is just one of those in the innovation pipeline. And the Densify delivers values to simplify ingredient statements, a more natural solution. It supports corporate sustainability and safety, provides many functions in beverages to help them appear more natural and taste more natural, providing mouthfeel. In addition to that, something hardly any other company can do is we can offer this organic certification, which is a growing industry, and there's not many organic ingredients available, especially in the functional category. So the Densify will replace chemicals that are known to be toxic, and it's a fast-growing market. The food, especially the beverage industry, is rapidly growing, with third world countries having population growth and demand for beverages. And the natural and organic industry sales alone is a $300 billion in revenue market. We would just like a small fraction of that with the Densify products. And so we do have larger players that we have relationships with, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Keurig, Dr. Pepper. And then we do have strategic relationships with these, but also we have signed a partnership agreement with Givaudan, which is the largest flavor company in the world based in Switzerland. They sell to these major companies. And so they are also a possible strategic partner in addition to ADM. In fact, we just signed another agreement with ADM. They're not the largest in the world like Givaudan, but they're a very large flavor company as well that can work in this market and help come up with the solution together. Fiberstar also has distributors. We sell to over 60 countries. Our headquarters is River Falls, Wisconsin, but we do sell through distributors in Europe, South America, Africa, Asia, Australia. So we started when we started off, the USDA export program was extremely helpful to get us established overseas. And through that, we helped set up this distribution. And about half of our sales, current sales, are international, and half, a little under half, domestic. So we have Citrify sales currently. We do have a distribution model. We have domestic partners, brokers. So we do have the sales channels in place, in addition to large company support. Alpro or Danone, Coca-Cola, Dole, Givaudan, Wahaha, just to name a few. Currently, Fiberstar sales are in the $14 million range. That's what we're expecting for 2023. We don't expect revenue from the Densify product line until a couple years. As we develop and commercialize the technology, we're thinking 2025 is when we would start to see some revenue from that product line. Starting slow, it is a long business cycle for any ingredient. It is not necessarily a fast growth cycle. However, one of the good things about ingredients is that once these companies test it and approve it, they remain very loyal in terms of being a customer for a long term. That's what we've seen with the current Citrify, and we expect that same to happen with the Densify product lines. So we're seeing a steady sales growth. We have invested a lot this year on new products. So we do have net loss, EBIT loss that we're expecting this year. But we do expect profitability and growth for 2024 at $16 million And then with the Densify combined with Citrify at 18.5 million for 2025. And so a lot of it's going to depend on the partnerships that we create and the success of Densify and Citrify, but we're continuing to try to innovate and grow, which we've already done, and getting 14 million in sales has been a feat in itself that we expect to continue. So some of our milestones and financing requirements in the next 12 months include $5 million investment in the form of debt and or equity. We do have some existing sales, so we think there's certain debt financing that could be attractive to certain lenders. We would like to collaborate and co-develop with a strategic partner the new product Densify. There's several tasks required for engineering, scale up for manufacturing of that product, and initial sales and production. And that's what we're shooting to commercialize in 2025. Here's the senior executive team for Fiberstar. John Haynes, president and CEO. He's been with the company for 9 years. I've been with the company 23 years, little under 23, almost 23. But I've worked with the technology actually originally at the University of Minnesota and then UW-Madison. So I've continued a long journey with the product, and it's been a good career. Vince Fusco is the CFO and COO who's been with the company for 5 years. Meg Gongwer is our VP of Operations for 16 years at Fiberstar. And then the board chairman and one of the largest shareholders of Fiberstar is Charles Rothschild, who's invested heavily into the company. He's been with Fiberstar 11 years, and Paul Hatchigan is the head of the strategic committee for Fiberstar as we carve out our partners and agreements and look for exits and larger investments. Paul would definitely be involved as a board member and head of the strategic committee for Fiberstar. So with that is what I have for the prepared presentations.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Brock. And so let's start on the feedback with Greg Lapointe.
Hi, thanks, Brock. I guess I'd like to start off again with what the exit opportunity would be for the Densify or for the investment.
Yeah, well, we're probably a little bit different than some of the other companies in that we have investors that have been with the company about 20 years, and there is a definite shorter term objective for an exit event to happen within the next, I would say 5 years at the absolute most. In fact, there is a right of offer from Givaudan in the next year and a half where they could buy us. They have a right to buy us in a year and a half as part of the partnership agreement. So somewhere between that year, I don't think it's not going to happen before that, but somewhere between that year and a half and the 5-year period at the longest, just based on the desire of the shareholders who've been with the company for so long, they definitely are looking for an exit event. Charles is the largest shareholder. He's been with the company 11 years. Since he is also pushing to kind of position the company for sale as soon as possible without giving up everything that we've worked for, because we do have the negative EBITDA for this year. So we need to get into that black for the income before we'll be ready. But that's our definite goal that we're working on for this year, next year. But it would be through a strategic. It would be a strategic partner like Givaudan, for instance. How that happens.
Sure. And then just based on your deck, I didn't get a good understanding on what exactly the company does. It sounds like you at one point mentioned a partnership for manufacturing. So do you manufacture the product?
Yes. We have 2 plants, one in River Falls in Wisconsin and one in Clewiston, Florida. Manufacturing locations.
You might
But
want to, it wasn't real clear to me.
yeah, we have 10 minutes too, so we're covering a lot of
No,
ground.
it's tough. 10 minutes is extremely tough. I'm just bringing
Yeah.
up some points that for me, fresh set of eyes. And then I don't have a real good understanding on what it is. You said it's organic. I get what it does, but what the product is, are there any risks involved? It's low concentration to achieve the the result, but what what does that mean? I don't have a really great understanding on what I'm investing in on the risk side here.
Right. I get that, and it's a very technical product, and it's one of the hurdles we have as a company is the technical aspects of it are so critical and involved, but it's basically a beverage stabilizer. And if you look at any beverage, any sodas or sports drinks, they have a list of 8 or 12 different ingredients needed to keep them looking and tasting good. So we would just be one of those ingredients. We would provide stability, good aesthetics and mouthfeel and taste, texture. All those things would be what Fiberstar is aiming to produce with one simple ingredient, and really simplifying the ingredient statement so that chemicals and a lengthy list of ingredients aren't necessary.
I understand that, but I still don't have a good, even with that explanation on what exactly
yeah, so I mean, so beverages require oils. Oils are what give them the flavor and the sensory kind of appearance, cloudiness. And so, but oils are a low concentration in the beverages. The rest, it's primarily water. So the oil and water don't mix very well.
Mm-hmm.
They're inherently unstable. And every beverage is unstable. That's not pure water. So stabilizers are needed. And that's what Fiberstar would produce, is that emulsifying stabilizer that keeps the water and the oil kind of in a happier, kind of more stable for shelf life and to processing.
To clear up my question, is there shelf life concerns?
Yeah, definitely. They measure that through particle size, through turbidity, through charge density. So there's several measurements that are used. It's not just one measure, but they actually do have several quantifiable measures in place for targets where they can predict stability, and we definitely are doing that. But I mean, it definitely gets technical pretty quickly when we start diving into those numbers. But yeah, definitely those are measurable properties for stability.
Okay, and then you mentioned the market size is, well, 2% of the market is 20.
Yep. Yep.
And what's your confidence level on being able to get that?
Well, we did just one SKU at Coca-Cola, where they have 60 million cases of Fanta. So just one of their SKUs produces $8 million of revenue. So we did that model and we worked with them on the formula. So we have a good relationship at Coca-Cola. So based on that, we think that basically we just have 3 customers, we could get that 28 million. But it is a large market size. I think that if it works well, it just, a lot of it depends on how well it works, for the long term. It could definitely grow more than that, but just 3 SKUs with a larger company could help us get that 28 million. So I think it's doable. It depends on a lot on just the basics of the technical aspects once it's commercialized.
Okay, and then that would be, you're basically targeting newer products, right? Or would you be able to?
Well, there's a lot of challenges in the ingredient space right now. There's shortage of ingredients, especially stabilizers. It would be safer. Probably the new product launches would be kind of a faster sale. But yeah, I mean, over a period of 5 years, after all the consumer studies, and I could see them switching one of their brands. But yeah, it is definitely a longer term. They play it safe. They don't want to mess with the bigger brands, but it would happen faster with the newer formulas for sure.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. Greg Baker.
I don't want to harp too much on the same theme, but you've got several different market sizes in the same deck, which gets a little confusing. But at the end of the day, I don't know the market very well. I just know it as a consumer and someone following the news. And I find it difficult to believe that a company named Coca-Cola would change a ingredient in one of their existing products anytime soon, after the new Coke fiasco. So this strikes me as much easier to be in new products or smaller products, as opposed to Fanta here is kind of a small niche player, but globally there are pockets where that's close to Coke. And I don't see them changing the ingredients unless there's something truly, truly compelling that you're doing. So that for someone who's not intimate with the industry, it's tough to make that leap. So you would either need to explain better why someone's going to do that, or look more towards presenting to this is for kind of new product lines. Don't often invest in longer term, established companies, but you've provided some financials which beg a question on your page 11. You have an increase of $2 million in sales from this year to next year with a decrease in cost of goods sold. And you go up another X percent the next year and only get back to the existing cost of goods sold, and you're reducing operating expenses at the same time. So since you're trying to get people to invest in the overall company, and the core of the company is this, I think you should have some explanation on why those two things are happening and why they won't damage the company. And with the status of an existing company and looking to raise $5 million, I'm not sure I missed it, the valuation of the company that I'm investing in at the 5 million would be a good thing to have.
Yeah, understood. And I mean, I think our audience probably is a little more along the lines of some of the strategic, or a little larger. I mean, we understand that we're a little farther along So it is, and we have the stable growth in revenue. So I mean, I appreciate it. I understand totally what you're saying, but I mean, I do
Yeah.
think probably our investor that we get with is probably going to be more somebody that kind of works in this space. That's what I think. I mean, I don't know that, but we'll see.
Which probably would drive further home the need to have a good answer for how you know, saying that this is only 2% of the market gets me to this, and getting 2% doable. I think you need to kind of lay out a better plan for people in the industry of how getting 2% makes sense based on what you're delivering.
Maybe a comment from one of your customers, current customers, about
Yeah.
what that would do for them on a potential product.
Yeah, we have good access to customers. That is one thing that we can definitely do.
Thanks.
Yep.
That was all from me.
Okay, no, good, thank you.
Sorry, Mary, you're up. I think
Sure.
I might have accidentally muted
Greg
myself.
Yeah, no worries. Greg and Greg covered a lot of bases. I don't think I have a whole lot to add over and above of that, Brock. But I think just on that last point around, sort of bringing in more of the voice of the customer into the story, and sort of, sort of the forces at work around, natural ingredients and so forth, and sort of those consumer dynamics, along with the point that Greg made around, well, how open are these types of customers to, ingredient changes, and sort of what does that look like and what does it take? I think would be, pretty helpful in sort of kind of rounding out some of the other pieces of the storyline that you have.
Okay. All right, good. It's good feedback.
Well, one other thing, since we are kind of Milwaukee based, isn't there a large food ingredient company in Milwaukee? Have you talked to Sensient?
No, not about this new product, but Sensient is a customer of ours, though.
Okay.
They buy Citrify. But
Feels
not
like-
about the new technology. We've been a little bit selective on who we talk to on the new products, just because it's not 100% ready for commercialization yet. So as we get closer, definitely.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brock. Good job. Thanks, panel.
Yeah.
Well, I am recording this, Brock, and I will send you a clip of your section. So
Okay.
Yeah, I've got an
Great.
email from the next person saying they're having trouble, unable to join the meeting.
oh, from Adam, Michael.
Yes, so it says he's unable to join because he'd been previously removed by the host.
Oh.
How can we invite him? Well, that may have been me.
Let me see. I'm looking to see if he's.
Well, anyway, I just want to let you know. And so I don't know if are we finished with Brock or
Yeah, should I sign off?
Well, so I guess while we wait, Brock, do you have any other? Do you have another question or a question for the panel? While we wait for the next person to join.
No, I don't, but I really
Okay.
appreciate the time and the interest and the really good feedback questions. So thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have one last thing to chime in about?
I've been in the food industry quite a while, in the value added side of business in the produce industry, where we made juices and whatnot. It feels like this is a massive opportunity. Anytime you can claim 100% organic and achieve what you're achieving, to me it feels awesome. But I just don't. I think if you could, like we said, have a little more clarity around what the opportunity would look like, that would be really helpful. But it's an amazing product.
Yeah.
It could see where you're headed.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sounds great. I'm excited too. So, all right.
All right.
Well,
Thanks, Brock.
all right. Have a good day.
Yep, you too.